Learners, welcome to a requested video by a learner. So remember that you can also send me your questions and I can make videos based on what you want me to do. So let's look at this question. It says, 10 years ago, John bought a rectangular prison-shaped ottoman and 2 matching cubic-shaped ottomans. So I know that there's 3 pieces of furniture here. He wants to refurbish each of them by having the sides, excluding the top and bottom. So only the sides will be painted. He will also employ an upholsterer to recover the top of each ottoman and to attach cylindrical shaped legs to the base of each ottoman. Each cubic shaped ottoman will have 4 legs, while the rectangular prism shaped ottoman will have 6 legs. Now I can calculate how many legs of there's going to be by checking like each cubic ottoman has 4. That means there's going to be a total of 8 because there's 2 cubic ottomans plus the 6 would give me 14 legs will be on these things. But then they give us a picture of all the furniture and you can count the legs from the pictures. Just know that in the cubic ones, 1 is on the other side, so you won't see it, and on the rectangular one you can't see 2 of the legs. So remember, make sure you count those as well. Then if you look at if we look at the rectangular one, it has a length of 190 centimeters and a width of 400 and a height of, it's not shown on the drawing, it's 400 millimeters, right? And then we have the square ones, which are the sides are 400 each. All of the sides are 400 millimeters, and the height is also 400 millimeters because they are all the same height. So all the sides on the square one are the same except for the rectangular one. So if you calculate for the sides, they make sure you know that. And then we are shown the legs, and the leg is 75 millimeter wide. So that will be, because it's circular, that will also be called the diameter, but it's 75 millimeters. If you check there, it's millimeters. So, and that one is centimeters. Make sure that the units of measurements are the same should you have to calculate anything there. And then use information above to answer the questions that follow. Determine the total number of legs for the ottomans John has to purchase. Calculate the radius of the ottoman's leg, and that is the radius there. We're going to get the radius from the diameter. Why am I saying this is the diameter? This is the distance from the beginning of the circle to the end of the circle, so it's a diameter. And then if we calculate the radius, we need to just half the diameter into 2 by dividing by 2. Radius is equal to 75 millimeters divided by 2. You get and say. Now it says calculate in centimeters the total height, including the legs of 1 cubic shaped ottoman. So 1 cubic shaped ottoman, 1 cubic shaped ottoman, 1 cubic shaped ottoman. There it is. So they want the total height. So the height from here to there is 400, but then if we include the leg as well, so it's the whole thing, then we're going to be say 400 plus 8 centimeters. Now we can't add 400 to millimeters. We can't add 400 millimeters to 8 centimeters, so we have to change one of them. And then it says to calculate the height. Now we go back to the question. It says in centimeters, so we know which one we need to change. We need to change the millimeters to centimeters. So I'm going to say the total height. Don't be lazy like me, write in full. The total height is equal to, and then I'm going to just first on the side here, I'm going to change 400 millimeters to centimeters, and I'm going to say 400 divided by 10, and the answer there is 40 centimeters. Then I'm going to say 40 centimeters plus 8 centimeters is 48 centimeters, and done. Okay, 2.4 says that now he wants to calculate in square meters the total surface area of the side surfaces of all 3 ottomans that need to be painted. You may use, remember they said we're going to paint the sides of the ottomans, right? So now the formulas for the sides are for the area of the sides. They've given us the formulas. We just need to use the formulas. Okay, let's go back to the drawings, the pictures. Okay, if you look at this one, let's identify the sides first. The side will be this part here, this part here, the other side, and the one on the left, right? So let's calculate them separately so that we know what we're doing. 2.4, we're going to calculate, I'm going to show you, there's one that's very long, right? And then there's the back, so that's the front and the back. And then we have one on the left, the side from the left, and then we have the side from the right, right? So let's first calculate these two. I'm going to calculate these two by saying area is equal to length times breadth. And then I'm going to say, what is the length of the front here? The length of the front is 190 centimeters. And I'm asked to calculate the area in centimeters squared. So I will calculate in centimeters. So here, the length is 190 centimeters. 190 centimeters multiplied by the breadth. And the breadth will be the height this time. Remember, the front is this part here, this whole part here. So the length, if this is the length, then the breadth or the width will be this one of the front. So we're going to use the height measurement here, which is 400 millimeters. Okay, so 400 is in millimeters. I've converted it before, so I know it's 40 centimeters. So I'm just going to multiply that by 40 centimeters, and then I use my calculator and get the answer. And the area there is 190 times 40, and it gives me 7,600 centimeters. And then I'm going to say now, okay, so the front and the back are the same, so I'm going to have 2 times these. So I'm just going to multiply that by 2 because of the front and the back. And then I'm going to say, then I have 15,200 centimeters squared, right? Okay, so the front and the back are done. And then now I'm going to do the sides, which is area is equal to side times side, and then is equal to and then I'm going to do this, which is 400. The width and the height is 400. Let me show you here. This side here, the height is 400 and the width is 400. So that's why I use side by side, but you can use length times breadth. It's the same thing. So 400 by 400 will be 40 centimeter by 40 centimeter, which is equal to 1,600, I think. 40 times 40 is 1,600. 1,600 centimeters squared. Again, there's 2 on this ottoman, so I'm just going to multiply that by 2 and get 3,200. I'm just going to double check on the calculator. Always double check with the calculator. You don't have to calculate everything with your brain. Times 2, 2,300. Make sure you double check because that's for marks. And then we have the other 2 ottomans. So now let's check the sides here. The sides are all the same. So if we get measurements for one, we're done. So the length is here. The side here is the length from here to here is 400, and the length from there to there is 400. So the length and the breadth of this are the same, 400 by 400. But then we need to calculate it in centimeters so that we get centimeters squared, and then we get 40 by 40. Again, we have to do that one now, which is area is equal to 40 by 40, right? Which is equal to 1,600 centimeters squared. And then I have to calculate how many of all of these. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. And here we have 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So there's 8 sides. And I'm just going to multiply this by 8 and get. So that's 1,600 times 8. And we get 12,800 centimeters squared. All right, so now I just have to do the total of all of this area. And I'm going to say it's 15,200 centimeters squared plus 3,200 centimeters squared plus 12,800 centimeters squared. And then we just calculate the total. Now, if you see any errors here, because I'm only human after all, just let me know, because I don't use memos. Especially for paper 2, because I enjoy it. I don't like using memos. They distract me. So if you see errors, just let me know. John bought a 1-liter tin of luxurious silk paint to paint the side surfaces. The paint has a spray rate of 9 meters squared per liter. calculate in milliliters the amount of paint needed to paint all the ottomans with 2 coats of paint. We need to know the area of the space we're painting, and we just did calculate that. It's 31,200 centimeters squared. Unfortunately for us, we were told to calculate it in centimeters squared, and then our paint gives us in meters squared. So we now have to change the centimeters squared to meters squared. I will do a video showing you how to do this, but for now, I'm going to just calculate it here. So I'm going to change. So first thing I'm going to do is change my area from centimeters squared, which is 31,200 centimeters squared, and I'm going to change that to meters squared. Then how do I do that? I divide that by 31,200. I divide 31,200 by, from centimeters to meters, it's 100. Then I divide it by 100 squared. Let me just square the 100. That is 31,200 divided by 100. 100 times 100 will be, so I'm dividing 31,200 by 10,000, right? And then my answer there will be 31,200 divided by 10,000 is 3,12 meters squared. Right? And then I say, okay, now I have it in meters squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the spread rate to calculate how much paint I need. I know they said in milliliters. I'm fine with that, but I just want to make sure that first I know how much paint I have. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say 9 meters squared is painted by 1 liter, right? And then I'm going to say, but I don't have 9 meters squared. I have 3,12 meters squared, and I don't know how much paint that's going to be, so I'm just going to say unknown there. Then I cross multiply, right? So then I have unknown times 9 meters squared is equal to 3,12 meters squared times 1 liter. Then unknown, yes, I divide that by 9 meters squared, then that cancels that. What I do this side, I come and do on the other side, 9 meters squared, and then I have 3,12 divided by 9 will give me 0,3466666666. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so liters. So that's the amount of liters that I'm going to get there. And then I say they want the answer now in milliliters, not liters. So now I have to change this to what? Now I have to change this to milliliters. How do I do that? I say 0,346666666 liters, and I multiply it by, from liters to milliliters, 1,000. For 6,66. 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 6 6 7 milliliters. Then I say 346,67 milliliters. So now we have to remember that we were told we're going to paint the ottomans twice. This paint is only for once, so now we have to multiply this by 2. The inner tin has an inner radius of 3,5 centimeters. So they're talking about this tin here. They say inside, from the inside to the inside, it's 3,3. The radius from there, from the center to there, it's 3,3 centimeters. Calculate the height in centimeters of the paint in the tin. If 1 liter is equal to 1,000 cubic centimeters, you may use the following formula, or we just have to substitute on the formula. This is a nice 3 marks. This is nice free 3 marks. Even this is already converted to radius, is already changed to radius. The tin has an inner radius of 3.3 centimeters. So in this tin here, From there, because the tin is circular at the top, we say that from here, the radius to the end, but in the inside, it's 3,3 centimeters. And then they say calculate the height, that's fine, of the paint in the tin if 1 liter is equal to 1 cubic centimeters. Okay, we know that 1 liter is equal to 1 cubic centimeters. So this is the capacity, this is the volume, right? So we're going to use the volume to calculate the height. Remember, length times breadth times height, right? And you may use the following formula. They've already fixed the formula for us. So what we're going to do is the tin has an inner radius of 3.3 centimeters. Let's look at the inner radius. What does that mean? It means from the inside of the tin, if you open the tin, from the inside, forget about the thickness of the tin, from the inside of the tin right to the center, it's 3.3 centimeters, right? And then they say calculate the height of the in centimeters of the paint in the tin if 1 liter is equal to 1,000 cubic centimeters. Let's just look at this, for example. This is the capacity. So this is what we're talking about, the capacity in liters, and then we have the space inside the container there, which is the volume, and it's cubic centimeters, right? So we're going to use the volume, not the capacity. We're going to use the volume. Remember, the formula of a cylinder is volume is equal to pi r squared h, right? There's that h which will give us the height, and they've already fixed it for us, so we're going to use this one and just substitute it. This is exactly 3 marks. You just have to substitute. Everything is perfect, it just needs to be substituted. So 2.6, the formula, copy the formula and make sure you've copied it correctly. Height is equal to volume times, okay? So here it says height is equal to volume divided by 3,142, that's that pi, multiplied by radius squared. Okay, so the next step is we substitute. So height is the unknown. Remember, when you're using a formula, once you've copied it, you check if you've copied it correctly, and then you identify your unknown on the formula. I'm asked to calculate height, so that there, so I fill nothing there. I have to fill in volume, I have to fill in radius.